Hi Patera, I came across your video, first time on your channel. Good of you to warn people. It's farmers that are on the front lines. I was a farmer myself. 5 years ago, we had to sell our farm. The laws and regulations are so strict in Europe that it is no longer possible to work with them. 5 years ago, I tasted the spiritual atmosphere of what is now happening in our country, the Netherlands, and also worldwide. 50 years ago, people in the Netherlands never wanted to go hungry again. Farmers received money from the government and were motivated to grow bigger. Mortgages were given. It all seemed very nice. Now they come to our country with the nitrogen lie, and they want farmers to be halved. Half of the cattle out. No farmer will survive. In addition, they want to expropriate farmers and use the agricultural land to build houses. There are mega protests in our country by farmers, but also the fishermen can no longer follow the rules. It is being deliberately destroyed. The number of farmers who end their lives are increasing. They let the milk run away from the milk tanks. They have nothing more to lose. Food shortages are also on the rise here. We are in the time close for our Messiah. I agree with what you are saying. We have to stay active and do what we can. Keep praying and trusting God. God bless.
So, hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. I hope you listened to the entire letter that I just read to you. Actually, it was an email also from a gal in the Netherlands. Welcome to the channel, folks. Thank you so much for all the new faces and subscribers, and thank you so much for all the emails. It is very hard for me to keep up with all the messages and emails that we are getting right now. Ooh, you hear that? We're in between thunderstorms right now. So I'm trying to get some stuff together this morning on the farm. We've done a lot of canning this weekend. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you've rested up. If you're like me though, I'll have to tell you, I woke up on this Monday morning. Hopefully I'll get this video up by this afternoon. And I'm a bit restless again. It just seems like things are just not getting any better. We know they're not. And I want to encourage you to keep moving along as you are. I know that we're getting towards the end of what we call, we still have a good 6 to 8 weeks of really hot weather. But it's almost like when we start pushing into August and school, we're actually starting homeschooling today. Today is Gabriel's first day of school. Some people are like, that is really, really early. We normally start around the time when the public schools start. I don't wait till after Labor Day. I did that 1 year. Did not work out for me whatsoever. Because here's the thing, stuff always ends up happening, right? Now for me, I'm down to my last baby. Can you believe that? My last homeschool baby is going to be a senior this year. So, I just have to keep him in line. We do have to help with math and different things like that. But he does most of his work on his own. So, I've been in the trenches for a long time, so I'm kind of coming up out of that. But we're starting today. Today's July 25th. And I want to get him a really good head start because I think we're going to have a lot of distractions. I found out the hard way that when I wait as late as the end of August or after Labor Day, something happens in November. I don't know. And so it's harder to get back on track. Excuse me. And so I have found out over the years that even if we don't homeschool every single day in August, instead of doing 5 days, maybe we do 2 or 3 each week. That cushions us in the fall or in the winter if we get sick or if we decide to go somewhere or whatever. So that's why I'm starting even earlier, because I want to make sure we finish up everything that we need to for his senior year. So you'll ask, and there'll be a lot of comments down in the comment section. If you homeschool, what do you do, girl? What do you do, mom and dad? But this is what we're going to do this year. So we're going to be easing into the school year starting today, getting organized, making sure we have everything that we need, make sure that we understood everything from last year. Yeah. Just make sure we got a good start and give us a couple of weeks to really get into it. I don't want to wait till Labor Day and then feel rushed. So that's what we're doing. But we kind of took a day or two off. We did film some videos over the weekend, and I've done a lot of canning right now. This is, again, like many of you out there, if you are growing your gardens and whatnot, this is the time where everything is starting to really come in fast. So we have to keep up with that. And pressure can, pressure can is coming up this week. Actually, water bath. I did a lot of tomatoes this past weekend, and salsa and all kinds. Salsa. We call it salsa. Y'all can call it salsa. We call it salsa here. And so anyway, listen. I wanted to read that letter to you. I got it about a week and a half ago, and I hadn't had the chance to really address it because there's just been so much going on. And folks, you're looking at a crisis worldwide. You know, we as humans always feel like problems are happening in our individual areas. We know it's outside of us, right? But we think of ourselves in our own world, in our own communities. But what you are experiencing in terms of all this inflation and control and food crisis and all energy crisis and all the things that we're seeing, this is a worldwide problem. And what I'm saying is I may be in Southeast Tennessee, you may be in North Dakota, but she's over there in the Netherlands, and we all have a common theme. We want our independence, okay? We want our independence. Here's what I'm really fearful about at this point in the game, because as I have really been able to kind of dig in on a lot of information from you over the past several weeks, which is why we do this, why a lot of, Southern Prepper One, go follow him. He's got a good channel. He's doing a lot of what he calls the boots on the ground. So tell him I sent you. And he does a lot of updates. He's the best one doing it, honestly. And he's not just jumping on a bandwagon. He's actually in the trenches, has been in the trenches for a long time, years and years and years. So go follow him, tell him hello, and tell him thank you, because he is doing a service. Because what he's doing is he's getting information from you, I'm getting information from you. Now, I'm not doing it as much as he is. He has a different style channel than I do, and I'm out here, moving turkeys around in the rain, but that's okay. He is an expertise in a lot of other areas. Go follow his channel. So, but here's the thing. I know as we press along, it's almost like we get really, really busy, and it's easy to turn and tune things out. I get that. Sometimes we kind of have to pull back a little bit. Listen, I'm human too, so I've talked about this before. I get it. Regardless of how you pull back, if you're like, I have to take a break from social media for a few days, or I've got to stop this for just a day or two, or I've got to put on some music or whatever. I've got to listen to rainy jazz coffee music like Patera at night and chill. I do. I love it. I love it. But then we get up the next morning and we got our Hank Williams Jr. on, okay? Because you know why? Because we have to stick with the grind. We have to keep doing what we're doing. I think we're going to see, I think the problem, as much as a food crisis and inflation, I think the degrading of human spirit and, the lack of morals and just the lack of any type of respect for each other is going to be a major push and catalyst for a lot of future problems that we have never experienced before. That is honestly more of my problem at this point. I can sit here and say, look at this happening over here, and this is happening here, and this can go to here, and have you got your 5 cans this week? Okay, we all know that I say this. We all know that I feel this, and I relay this to you. But what I'm seeing, when I made the video last week with James at the Dollar General, talking about don't go out shopping alone. I actually expected a little bit more of, you're so silly, or I can't do that, you're so silly. There were a few people that say I can't do that because I live alone, but they understood there was no pushback. There literally was no pushback. You all are on board here. And not only that, when I read the comments, how many of you were giving input saying, this is what has happened to me. This is what has happened to her. This happened to me last year. Here are some ideas. When I had really solid citizens, people that are military, people that are retired policemen, and they're saying, I'm telling you right now, absolutely true. This happens in good times. It's going to be happening in really bad times on steroids. And then they would tell you, the best suggested times for you to shop is X, or here is So what I'm saying is that kind of rippled my emotions because, like I said, I kind of thought some people would say, well, you're just plain dumb. You know, like at the Cracker Barrel when you're playing the peg game, you're plain dumb. Yeah, no, you're on board, you understand, which tells me you are bracing for the same things that we are. So it's not even a matter of, you know, there's never going to be anything on, get these foods now, you know, all these titles that you see, get these foods now. I get it. But, and it's true. I mean, you know, that's not a lie. But, and it's not even about, can you afford it? Is it available? But will you be safe when you even attempt to get it? There's just so much turmoil across the world. I mean, we've talked about Sri Lanka. Look at the Netherlands. People are not biting on this attempt of an agenda that is happening. They're not biting on it. There is a push. And when there is turmoil of such, criminals tend to show up too. They like to take advantage of these moments. And I'm always worried about you. I'm worried about you and your kids, and I'm worried about your mama and your grandma going out trying to get a loaf of bread. But do you feel this? Do you feel this? I don't think I'm alone. I don't think I'm crazy. I was talking to someone this past weekend at the powwow, a very spiritual woman, and she is, you know, I wasn't sure. I've met her several times, and she's a dear heart, and you know, we don't talk a whole lot of politics and stuff. But she said, Patera, I want you to know that I have been following everything that you're saying. And I want you to know that a lot of times, you know, I haven't put up as much as I have this year. She said, but I'm telling you, it is in my spirit of what's to come, and it isn't good. So I want to encourage you as we are beginning to wind down some of the summer. Hopefully you're getting some rain and you're going to be able to bring in the harvest. Whatever harvest you got, take advantage of it. Don't let any of it go to waste. This morning I just got a couple of handfuls of beans, okay? I'm going to put them in a vegetable hamburger soup, letting nothing go to waste. Train yourself to waste nothing, use everything. And talk with your spirit and pray to God and ask all the things that you need to be doing. If you don't need to come to social media to tell you, and you're still motivated to keep moving forward, you're on the right track. That's God moving you. I think so. I feel so. I think a lot of people like to watch videos because they have a hard time digesting. You know, I'm kind of like that. I think women tend to be that way. We like to, am I crazy? You know, I'll go to James. You all see how James is like. You know, I can sit here and talk for 15 minutes, and everything that I say, he can grunt and say it in like 2.5 sentences, and you got the point, and it's done, right? That's what's so great about James. Somebody said the other day, they're like, why don't you let him talk? I'm like, he doesn't talk. When I say James is going to give you input, it's usually 2 or 3 sentences. That's James. Thanks. Okay? Okay. That's why we get along so good. But, because James is such a good heart. He sits and suffers through the 10, 12, 15 minutes of me. But when he talks, I listen, and I'm like, I love him. And you know, that's why we work. So that's the way it goes. But I'm telling you, if you are motivated to boot, scoot, and boogie and continue to do everything that you're doing on your own, without somebody on YouTube telling you something new today, without, you know, something being posted on Facebook, and you are on fire to keep moving, you're on the right track. I don't want you to get burned out. I know, like I said, if you have to take an afternoon off, if you work all week and you want to go have some fun and eat some fry bread and see friends for the afternoon, there's nothing wrong with that. Be safe about it. Do so. Your spirit and your heart needs that. Your kids need to go, you know, do something this week at some point before school starts. I get it. I agree. Yeah. But do not stop. Because here's the thing, it's not just me telling you things are happening. It's not just other channels telling you things are happening. I hope it's your preacher telling you too. It's obviously people from other countries. I get a gajillion comments from people from the UK, Ireland in particular, Germany, the Netherlands. Right now, I'm getting a lot of people email me from Australia and New Zealand, Canada. And they're saying, you don't want to be like this. What you're seeing here is coming your way. What you're seeing with food shortages and prices is coming your way. Do you think these people from other countries are making this up? Why would they ever? And why would they take the time to email little old me? Why? Because they want me to tell you. But like I said, if you have it in your spirit already to move, you don't need me. I said this for months. You don't need me. You don't need anybody to tell you. You can go to the grocery store. You can see things on the shelf or not on the shelf, and you can see gas, even though they are manipulating you with prices right now, and they're manipulating you with the stock market. You're no dummy. You know the thing. Do the very best that you can. It's what you've got. And I know you're doing it. And I wanted to motivate you as we enter in another week, the last week of July, because now we're pushing into August. Now we start to see the fall months coming into focus. And it could be a beast. It could be a beast. We've got a lot of videos coming up for you this week. Hopefully before this one, I got my canning video up. I canned that salsa. Now, I've said in the video, it's a highlight video, and I will attach the recipe. So you'll get the whole shindig on everything that was on that. It's the ball canning book. So make sure, final say here, when you are canning anything, please make sure that you are doing what reputable sources, your extension office, ball canning, the manual from your canner is telling you to do. Appropriately water bath or pressure can your items. Pay attention. Don't do some wild, weird rebel canning. The last thing that you need right now is, number one, to waste food on trying to be, Inspector Gadget on something weird. And number two, you don't need to be getting sick. You really want to be sick and put in the hospital these days? I highly doubt it. So, do stupid things, win stupid prizes. Don't be that person. I said it, and I don't take it back. Love you. Stay busy. I got to finish up my chores before we get slammed again with more rain. Thank you, Lord. Thinking of you. Thanking you. Appreciating you being here. Got a lot of stuff coming up. I've got a lot of canning to do, so I'm going to try to get some filming of that. It may be highlight videos because I got to move like you. Boot, scoot, and boogie. Like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next video.